It's important to find your vocal range. The majority of singers don't have that kind of ability. The majority of people have between 1 and 100. They have 5 and 2 octaves in their natural or modal voice. You can easily identify which of the 7 main voice types you belong to with a little musical background and practice. So, we are going to watch about the how to find your vocal range.
Method 1. Finding your lowest notes. First is locate a piano or keyboard if possible.
The easiest way to identify your range is with the assistance of a tuned instrument that you can play while you sing, like a piano or keyboard. If you do not have access to the physical instrument, download a piano app, such as Virtual Piano. Step 2. Find the lowest note you can sing in your normal, modal, voice for 3 seconds. The goal is to find the lowest note you can still sing comfortably. So do not count notes that you cannot sustain. Instead of trying to pull your lowest note out of thin air, start by singing a higher note on a consistent vowel sound.
Step 3. Sing the lowest note you can, including breathing.
For some singers their normal and breathy lowest notes may coincide. For others, they might not. Once you know how far down your voice can reach comfortably, try to go a bit lower. Breathy notes that you can sustain for 3 seconds count.
Finally, record your lowest notes.
Once you have found your lowest normal voiced note and the lowest one you can reach, write them down. Do so by identifying the piano key that corresponds to the note.
Method 2. Finding your highest notes.
First is find the highest note you can sing in your normal, modal, voice for 3 seconds. If you're a woman, start by playing AC5 and work your way up from there, key by key. You want to find the highest note you can hit without significantly changing your tone quality or the natural action of your vocal cords. If you hear a break or
Step 2. Sing the highest note you can in falsetto.
Most people can use falsetto, a mode in which your vocal cords remain open and relaxed and vibrate much less, to go lighter and higher than they can in their modal register. Your highest note will fall in that register. Use your breathier, flute-like.
Finally, record your highest notes.
You want to track the highest notes you can reach without straining. Some of these notes may not sound wonderful before you've given them more practice.
Method 3. Identifying and classifying your range. First is identify your range in tessitura.
You should have 4 notes, 2 low and 2 high, written down in scientific pitch notation. Arrange them from lowest to highest. Put parentheses around the lowest and highest pitches and a dash in between the middle two. This notation expresses your full vocal range. Step 2. Count the notes between your lowest and highest notes. Using a keyboard, count the notes between the lowest note you could sing and the highest. Do not include the sharps and flats, black keys, in your count.
Step 3. Calculate the octaves in your range.
Every 8 notes is 1 octave. A 2A, for instance, is an octave, but the last A will also count as the start of the next. You can determine the number of octaves in your vocal range by counting the total number of notes between your highest and.
Step 4. Include the partial octaves as well.
It's normal for someone to have a range of 1.5 octaves in full voice. The reason for the half is because the person could only comfortably sing 3 or 4 notes in the next octave.
Finally, translate your vocal range into a voice type.
The typical ranges for each voice type are as follows. Soprano B3 G6. Mezzo soprano G3 A5. Alto E3 F5. You want to pick the voice type in which you will be most comfortable singing.
Method 4. Vocal range basics. First is learn about voice type classifications.
In opera, voices are another instrument that must reach particular notes on demand. Just like the violin or flute, range classifications were developed to help identify voice types, which made it easier to cast opera singers for specific parts.
Step 2. Figure out how to distinguish between vocal registers.
Your modal, or chest, voice is essentially your comfortable singing range. Your head voice includes the high end of your range, produced with elongated vocal folds. The whistle register is an extension of the head voice, but its timbre is distinctly different.
Step 3. Make sense of octaves.
An octave is the interval between two like notes. For instance, B to B, the higher of which has twice the sound frequency of the lower. On a piano, octaves will span 8 keys, excluding the black ones.
Finally, recognize scientific pitch notation.
Scientific pitch notation counts octaves starting with C notes rather than A notes. What we deem middle C on a piano is actually C4 in scientific pitch notation.
We hope it is useful to you. Please subscribe to our channel to upskill yourself.